Your opinion about Death Stranding is wrong. Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding was released on November 8th, 2019, with a PC release scheduled for late 2020, and it was met with generally favourable reviews. The game has accumulated an 82 on Metacritic's critic review pages of writing, with 19 out of its 107 recognised critics claiming it to be worthy of a perfect 100% score. In fact, as of writing, only 24 of its critical reviews fall below Metacritic's green-coloured scores of 75 and above, and only 3 of those reviews go as far as to place it safely in the negative. So the game is good, right? Well, if you look at the user reviews, we see a much more polarising game, rated at a 6.8, so a more positive lean, but still nowhere near as positive as the critical lean of the designated reviewers. So polarising, in fact, that the split of reviews is 64% positive, with negative behind at 31%, and mixed having the remaining 4% with numbers rounded. Now, obviously, there is the current trend of review bombing stuff, and while those numbers do seem realistic to me, I decided to run my own poll on the game via my Twitter page at VividChim. So, taking up the 7 people who hadn't played the game in this poll, the numbers are actually 55% positive, 33% mixed, and 11% negative from an admittedly small sample pool, but one that showed quite a different trend to what the public reviews on Metacritic would suggest. Looking at this though, we have a more positive lean from the critics, the people on Metacritic, and Twitter. So the game is good, right? Well, Jesus once said that only a Sith deals in absolutes, and the horrendous irony of that statement aside, you should probably look at it like this. There isn't really a black or white. Everything is shades of grey essentially. Some are lighter, some are darker, but all with elements of both positive and negative. Similarly-ish, you could look at video games or any artistic endeavours in a similar light. You aren't guaranteed to love or hate something, and things aren't definitively good or bad. They can be seen as good or bad by a majority, but it isn't an objective fact. It's all still an opinion, albeit one at mass. So, who's right? Well, with more positive reviews, the argument is there that yes, it is a good game, but can a game with that many people actively hating it be considered good? Well, yes, but actually no. Again, who's right? The ones who love it or the ones who hate it? Well, none of you, but also all of you. It's just saying that everyone is right doesn't really make for a good video title now, does it? The truth about Death Stranding is that it's perfect if you think it's perfect, it's terrible if you think it's terrible, and it doesn't really matter either way because there's no objective answer, and there never will be. It is highly subjective, as are most artistic works. The game's decision to focus on exploration, specifically walking as well as fetch quests, and the gameplay is going to be a point of contention for a very long time, if not forever. While there is more to it than what most people would usually associate with a walking simulator, that approach of a more traditional and widely accepted balance of gameplay elements isn't going to be for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. Some people just aren't going to like it, and they shouldn't be judged for that. Likewise, someone who is more accepting of a game for narrative of a gameplay, or even a balance of the two, might be more accepting and interested by what the game has to offer them, and they shouldn't be judged for that either. We as a species get too caught up in our tribalistic tendencies, often viewing opinion as undeniable fact without even realizing that we're doing so. So many of us get locked into these echo chambers around things that really don't matter, and we lash out against opinions that aren't the same as ours. Look at the title of this video, for example. I imagine at least some people saw that and assumed that I loved the game or hated the game based on their opinions, and had a reaction because my viewpoint potentially doesn't conform to theirs. As for what my viewpoint is, it doesn't really matter, but if you do want to hear my thoughts on the game critically, hit that subscribe button, as I'll be releasing a How Bad Can It Be review quite soon. So, what should you take away from this? Was there any point to this video? That's a decision for you to make, really. But my intent here was to talk about this video game in regards to the talk surrounding it and not the title itself. So if you want to take anything away from this video, it's that it's perfectly fine to disagree with someone, and it's fine if someone disagrees with you. That's just life. Just be civil, recognize that it's an opinion, and move on, because whether or not you like a video game that someone else loves or hates really shouldn't matter. Thanks for watching. This was a bit of a different video for me, but one that I wanted to do for quite a while. As a person who wishes to enter the world of critique, and someone who has studied media for the third of their life, I often get frustrated with the way we react and treat each other because of it. Again, my opinions on this game have deliberately been avoided. because I think adding them here would ruin any conversation potential there is to have. I don't want this video to be read as me defending or trying to justify my viewpoint, it's more to have a chat about subjectivity. Thanks again, hit like, subscribe and all that jazz to keep up to date with future content, and I'll see you all soon.